NFL Daily coming up next here on Chat Sports. But first, want to make sure you're subscribed to the channels. We're talking about the National Football League each and every day with daily news and rumors. We have our live shows. We'll do our Red Zone channel throughout the season. This is the place to be if you're a diehard NFL fan. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We'll get started with today's show. Carter writes in, Aaron Donald to Miami is a perfect fit, and AD said he wants to play with Ramsey again. Aaron Donald, I don't think is going to get moved prior to the season beginning. Miami's been big spenders, and they've let go of a lot of draft picks, similar to what the Rams did. They've taken that F them picks approach to an extent. They might be a player for Aaron Donald at some point, but I don't think Aaron Donald's getting moved before the season begins. They get off to a slow start this upcoming year. Aaron Donald might get dealt at the deadline. Loyal T says, Josh Jacobs to the Dolphins. What team would be faster, Dolphins or the 49ers? Yeah, I think that could be a backup plan. If you're Miami, I think you would want to hold on, go get Dalvin Cook first and not have to give up anything for him as opposed to what you'd have to give up for Josh Jacobs there. McCaffrey, he's something else. It's hard to argue with McCaffrey's speed. I think the Niners, and then with Brennan Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, the Niners would be faster. But Tyreek Hill, obviously, he's fast too, but maybe slight edge to the Niners there. Jeff says, if Watson returns to form, would the AFC North be the hardest division in the league? Potentially speaking, yes. Because I think the Steelers are going to be improved, the Ravens will be improved, the Bengals will be good. And so if he returns to form, then the Browns are going to be improved. And then at that point, I think everybody in the league is just hoping to split the matchups among each other. At that point, realistically, with respect to your opponents, you're hoping you go 1-1 against your other teams in the division at that point. So, yeah, it very well could be. Pablo Sanchez, a legend, if you know, you know. Where will Yannick Ngakoue sign in free agency? So there's one team in particular that has more money than anyone else, and they have a need at his position. It's the Chicago Bears. Something tells me the Bears are still the favorites to land Yannick Ngakoue, and in a division that's not that great in the NFC North, why not? Why not go get Yannick Ngakoue right now? I think Yannick's going to end up with the Bears, but obviously things could change. Who will sign Yannick Ngakoue? Weigh in. Tell me in the comments section where you think he's going to go. It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Tell me where you think Yannick Ngakoue is going to go. Monte says Chicago trades for Huff. Now, that would be interesting if Chicago did that. Ryan Poles has had a fantastic offseason with the decisions he's made when it came to the draft and the players they've signed, the moves they've made. They might not be done yet, whether it's a trade for a guy like Huff or signing Yannick Ngakoue. Don't sleep on the Bears as potentially doing some more buying here. Kyle writes, what's the best possible trade for the Falcons? I think it's trying to get something for Cordero Patterson at this point. Bijan's your guy. You don't really have a spot for him at the receiver position. I think it's just getting anything for Cordero Patterson at this point, if you can, as far as that goes. It looks like they've moved on from him. Loyalty says, do you think this year Andy Dalton will prove himself? No. Andy Dalton just kind of is who he is at this point. I don't have expectations for Andy Dalton. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback a few years ago. What was that like? Gosh, it's been a minute. That was 4 or 5 years ago now. Since he's been relevant, really. He's bounced around with several different teams. The Bengals to the Cowboys, Bears, Saints, and now he's with the Carolina Panthers. He's not starting over Bryce Young. Bryce Young's going to be their starter. He's only going to play if Bryce Young gets hurt. So will he prove himself? The answer, no. There's nothing to prove. Nitro, what are the odds DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook sign somewhere together? I would say the odds are better than I expected when this whole process began. When they talked about it at the very beginning of these two pairing up, I'm like, that's a pipe dream. That doesn't seem that realistic that these two could end up on the same team, just with both of their salary demands and teams with limits on cap space, and with also trying to find teams that need a running back and a wide receiver. There's one team, only one team that this could happen. It's a greater than zero chance. It's still a small chance, but it's a greater than zero chance that they both end up with the New England Patriots. Patriots need a backup running back to Ramondre Stevenson. So Dalvin would have to take a reduced role from what he had in Minnesota. But DeAndre Hopkins, we know the Patriots are the favorites to land DeAndre Hopkins. So what are the odds? Not high, but more likely than it was at one point. Pick one to sign. Who would you rather have, D-Hop or Dalvin Cook? Weigh in the comments section. Type H for DeAndre Hopkins. Type C for Dalvin Cook. Tell me what you think one way or the other. Which guy would you rather have? Evan writes, should the Steelers sign Kareem Hunt? I wouldn't advise anyone to sign Kareem Hunt. Not just because he's an older running back now, but he has come with issues. Remember, he got cut by the Kansas City Chiefs early in his career for the video involving a young woman and then lying about it. And then he goes to Cleveland, and he was a headache there off the field. I think that there's just too much baggage, that you don't get enough out of him compared to what he gives in return. So should they sign Kareem Hunt? I say no. He doesn't really fit into the steel curtain, the Steeler culture, the way the Steelers do things. I don't think so. Daniel writes in, thoughts on the Cowboys signing Brennan Aubry at kicker over Gold and other veteran kickers. If you're the Cowboys, I think that you're just trying to see what you can get, who can be an improvement over Brett last year. Brett was just so bad down the stretch. They'll see what Aubrey has. If he looks the part in the preseason or not, you roll with it. If not, Robbie Gould, or there's some other guys still out there, potentially speaking. So don't think that this is settled and this is over by any stretch as far as the Cowboys kicker situation goes. Jim Evans says, should NFL have officiating like the XFL? I don't know what you mean by that. XFL officiating, I haven't heard anybody just say the XFL overwhelmingly has just this great officiating crews by any stretch, unless I've missed something here. What I will say, there is one thing I like from the XFL, particularly that I would move over, and that's the way they do kickoffs. It's safer and yet exciting. And that's what the NFL is lacking when it comes to kickoffs. With the adjustments they've made and the fair catch and all that, it's lost excitement. I'd love to see them go to the XFL kickoff. Last question, do you think JK Dobbins gets traded? If so, for what? I don't think JK Dobbins is going to get traded. He wants a new contract. The Ravens are kind of opposed to giving it to him. And if you're the Ravens, you're looking at JK Dobbins' body of work, and he hasn't been healthy. And when he's been on the football field, he's been inconsistent. Why would you pay him more money? I don't think he deserves it. I don't think he's earned it. Usually I'm pro player, but I think JK's being a little ridiculous, if we're going to be honest with JK Dobbins there. With that said, I think if they were going to move on from JK Dobbins, they would have done so by now, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think JK Dobbins is getting traded. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads as well at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. I'll see you next time right here on NFL Daily.